So, Lee, you've got quite a smile on your face. What happened to you?
Well, first of all, I sat there at the table and the judge came over and game lost me because apparently I forgot to write Sacred Friendly list on my deck list.
That's not ideal. So this is round 3, where a lot of game losses do tend to, after they check all the deck registrations during round 1, and they tend to give things out like round 2 if they can, or round 3. So you missed this card from your deck list. That's a bit of a shame. But what happened from there? I mean, you're smiling, so...
Well, game 2 was interesting because I went land, mana guy, he went Black Eclipse, bolt it, so I thought, oh, here we go, he's on the red-black deck, I'm just going to die. Then he proceeded to then turn 2, I made a bird, and then he Inquisitioned me and took my, I think it was a 2-drop mana guy, like Wall of Roots, and then he thought seized me and took my pod.
So not feeling too good now. By the red-black deck, you mean the current Lava Spike bump in the Night Star thing?
It was
Jund. So it was Jund. But
then, so all I've got left in my hands is either Swan Canonist and I think it's a Deceiver Exarch. So I draw off my turn, I draw a land, I just make the Ether Swan Canonist and pass. And it makes me discard the Deceiver Exarch as well. I'm like, well, this isn't going too well. And he's got a Tarmogoyf. It's just a bit depressing. Then I rip off the top of my deck. It's a Birthing Pod. So I play my pod. I pod my 1-drop Accelerate into a 2-drop and pass the turn. So I've still got my Ether Swan Canonist in place, so he can't play Bloodbeard Elf or any shenanigans like that.
Well, not very effectively.
So he has to choose to either deal with my pod and like time walk himself or try and get aggressive. So he attacks with a Bob in his Treetop Village. So I untapped and killed him.
Yeah, so that's the combination. If you have enough life and you have two drops, is it?
Drops.
And a Birthing Pod, you can generally combine them with Clone Effect and untaps. And
you pod a 2-drop into a Deceiver Exarch, which taps or untaps target permanent. So that untaps your Birthing Pod. And then you pod your secondary drop into another one, which untaps your pod. Then you pod one of the Deceiver Exarchs into a Restoration Angel, which blinks a guy when it comes into play. So you blink the Exarch, it untaps your pod. And then you turn the Restoration Angel into a Kiki Jiki. And then make infinite guys and kill them.
Okay.
So that was quite interesting. I felt quite good about that.
So how did game 3 go then?
Well, game 3, I kept a bit of a shady opener, but it had pod, it had some removal, it had some little bit of life gain, and a wall of roots and a wall of ones, but only 1 land. So if he doesn't kill my 1-drop, I'm fine. So he opens up on land, Deathrite Shaman. I'm thinking, could have been worse. So I made my Grove of the Bear Willows, make a Noble Hierarch, and he goes untap, make Lotus Cobra, make a land, bolt your guy, tap my land, thought sees you, take your pod. So I'm like, this feels a little rough. I draw a mountain, so I've got 2 lands. Could have played my wall, but I didn't have the mana. So I've got I think I've got Deceiver Exarch in hand as well. And a Murderous Redcap still. So then he untaps, and I believe he then hits me with another discard spell, but doesn't take the Murderous Redcap or the Deceiver Exarch. There was another card that was better, I think.
Okay, but the red cap's actually quite a strong card against Jund.
So I drew my 3rd land. I managed to... He attacked with his Lotus Cobra. So in combat, I played the Deceiver Exarch to tap his Deathrite Shaman, which he responded to by terminating it and then burning me for 2 with the Deathrite Shaman's burn ability. And then I had nothing on the board again, but luckily I ripped my 4th land. I made the red cap, shot his guy, and then his Lotus Cobra can no longer attack. So I'm feeling quite good. I'm a little scared. I think I'm on 4 life at this point. And I have to like start cracking fetches to fetch land out of my deck. So he makes a Bob to go with his huge... I think he makes a Bob and a Tarmogoyf. And luckily, I rip my Restoration Angel to blink my Murderous Redcap and shoot his Bob before he gets the draw.
That's pretty brutal.
At this point, he's got no cards in hand because he's kind of like guffed his load. And he then attacks with his Tarmogoyf, which is a mistake because it's only a 4/5, and he thinks it's a 5/6 when he attacks. So I double block, he kills my Angel. And then I finally draw a Birthing Pod, but my problem is I can't play and activate it without cracking a fetch land. I'm at 1 at this point.
Oh no.
So it ends up I make my Wall of Omens and start chump blocking. And then I finally draw another land and like another, I think I have a Birds of Paradise on the table as well. So I pod my Murderous Redcap into a Thragtusk and game 5 going back up to 6. And then he draws again and it's his 2nd Raging Ravine in a row. So I chump it, he's attacked with his 1st Raging Ravine, and then I draw again, and then I pod my birds into a phantasmal image and make a second Thragtusk.
So much better off than 1 life now.
Yeah, so I'm back on 11, and then I made a Glenalandra that I drew next turn, and then he untapped, drew another Ranging Ravine and conceded.
So that's the combination of Birthing Pod and a 4-drop Persist guy. You can get both Kiki-Jiki and Zealous Conscripts and combo them.
Well, I was just going to get Kiki-Jiki and just keep making Thragtusks.
That's pretty brutal too, yeah.
The best thing was we had a bit of history. We played in like one of the latest Legacy tournaments, and he like ripped 5 times in a row to beat me when I was playing Goblins. So I feel quite
nice to get him back then.
I feel quite vindicated.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
I'm going to leave and punch Neil Rigby in the head right now.
Yeah, that's a good plan. Everyone wants to do that. Good luck in round 4, bud.